Using any three prescribed texts show how effective flashback has been used to bring out the message. Instead of flashback, they can use the word retrospection. In The Old Man and the Sea, Santiago retrospects about his youthful days in Africa, characterized by lions playing on the beach. The lions are slow, graceful, but fierce in battle. This symbol motivates him to fight the Malians with all his strength, highlighting endurance and determination. Although he is very exhausted, he does everything he can to fight off the sharks. But he loses the battle because he loses all of his instruments. Santiago also retrospects about the hand game with the Negro from Cienfuegos in Casablanca. He had engaged in a hand game with the strongest man on deck, and everyone knew that he would lose. He would lose the match. The match had gone on for many hours with a change of referees, but to the surprise of everyone, he had won the hand game, which had earned him the nickname aka El Campeón, to highlight bravery, determination, and endurance. Santiago also remembers how he had taken Manolin at the age of 5 and had taught him all the secrets of fishing. This explained the strong bond that has developed between him and the boy. The boy is his true companion. He buys him food at the terrace, he buys him drinks, and they share conversation concerning baseball, highlighting love and human companionship. Santiago remembers when he and Manolin had caught a female marlin that flapped its tail and almost killed Manolin in the small boat. But the male counterpart had stayed on. And at the end of it, it had leaped in the air as if to say goodbye to the female. To prove that Santiago had been a successful fisherman. And this increases Santiago's loneliness at sea. Every time he is at sea alone, he thinks only about one individual, and that is Manolin. Santiago retrospects about DiMaggio, whose father had also been a fisherman, and with whom they had gone to the sea many times. The growth of DiMaggio to prominence as a young man and a great baseball player serves as a source of inspiration for Santiago. DiMaggio is able to play well despite having a career-threatening bone spur, to highlight endurance and determination. In Twilight of Misty Foliage, the murder of Ntombo and his entire family by state-sponsored terrorism is reported in retrospection. Don Castro had discovered the riches in the land of Juanete, and Pong landers have started to exploit these resources with the complicity of President Ambogo. Ntombo, being a patriotic child of Juanete, writes a petition to the presidency trying to protest against the uncontrolled and illegal exploitation of the resources of Juanete. Nevertheless, he and his entire family is eliminated, and no investigation is carried out to investigate and find out who are the murderers. To blindfold the people, they decide to change the name from Juanete to Juanetemo, highlighting exploitation, violence, and man's in humanity. Cardinal Mpochuen's hatred for gambling is also captured in the Bizet game between him and Ntombo during his childhood. The children used to play Bizet, in which they lose most of the buttons in their trousers and shirts. Someone had suggested that he faces his best friend to get the real champion, and he had reluctantly done so. At the end, he had won, highlighting love and success. Nevertheless, he had lost his best friend forever, highlighting conflict. The arrival of Don Castro, who is ostracized from Pongland for sexually assaulting a black woman, discovers the riches, decides to choose the forest as his place, and the whites become very greedy. The president orders that landowners and farmers around the area be kicked out of their lands without any compensation. The exploitation begins. The children of Don Castro become directors of all the companies, even without better qualifications. This is done with the complicity of President Ambubu, highlighting exploitation. Reverend Rodberger love for money and hypocrisy strays to his youthful days when he had stolen money from his father's pocket. He had once been wounded by a blade which his father had put in the pocket, but he had claimed to have sustained the injury by harvesting elephant grass, highlighting dishonesty and hypocrisy. In the swamp dwellers, the old way of life is captured through the consummation of Alu and Makuri's wedding in the swamp to attract blessings from the serpent. They are blessed with twins, Igwezu and Awuchike, highlighting superstition. Awuchike's life in the city is brought through a flashback, like the departure of many young men to the city. Because of the poverty in the village, many young men abandon the village to go to the city to seek for greener pasture. He succeeds to become a timber merchant. He forgets about his parents and sends no word nor help for them. He uses his money to seduce Desala and take her away from his brother. He ruins his brother's life, who returns home frustrated to fall back on his farm, which is also destroyed, highlighting neglect, materialism, infidelity, success, hypocrisy, and man's inhumanity. Igwezu's marriage to Desala is also explained to us in retrospection. She does not want to stay in the village and asks Igwezu to take her to the city, which he does. And when in the city, she allows herself to be seduced by Awuchike and abandons her husband, highlighting materialism and infidelity. Makuri also recollects about the traders who had come from the town, from the cities, to buy crocodile skins. They use their money to seduce young women in the village who fall for their wealth, and praises his wife that she had never fallen to such temptation, highlighting materialism, infidelity, moral decadence. Lastly, the drought in the north is recounted by the blind beggar. There is great drought, but there is also rain that falls in great quantity, giving the people hope as they pick up their instruments and start working on their farms. They plant crops, the crops sprout, they can feel and caress the tenderness of the leaves, the green leaves of their crops. But life has a different turn towards them as locusts descend and destroy all their crops, shattering their hopes, pushing many people to go to the cities and beg for alms. Nevertheless, the blind beggar is determined to live a decent life and decides to take the southward journey to where he will meet water and fertile land, which he can use to farm using his hands. And when he arrives at the south, he is willing to work on the land, highlighting misery, frustration, determination, and also climatic hazards. Thank you for watching.